Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. Chelsea won, Everton 0 yesterday, and as much as I'm absolutely delighted with the win, I want to dissect this a little bit more because I saw something yesterday that was quite quintessential of Chelsea this season. There are large portions of matches where we do look like we're firmly in control, and we've got a manager who talks a lot about being in control of the game. And then we also have moments where I feel as though the game is on like a tipping point. We're on a scale where Chelsea have the control and then all of a sudden something might happen. And whether or not that is a positional change or a substitution or a player gets taken off, we start to see this happen quite often. You can see for the majority of this match, Chelsea are firmly in control of Everton. And then at this point here, the tide just dramatically changes. And yes, fair play, Chelsea did very well. We grafted hard yesterday. We won the game 1-0. Maresca said it himself. It was nice to see us win a game of football playing this way. But I want to see what it is about this little moment on the graph here. You can see I've got my cursor on it. Until the end of the game, it was Everton that looked like the more likely team to score. Now, I do think there is a big thing that needs to be said here about this substitution in the 67th minute. Reece James comes on for Romeo Lavia. Kaisedo obviously started the game in that right-back position, but he very much did step up, and it was more like a 3-4-2-1 for Chelsea for large portions of the match. However, when you look at the average positions, and we'll do that right now, Romeo Lavia is basically in the centre circle of the game. What this enables Lavia to do is be a defensive screening when Everton are on the attack. But as well as that, if you're playing in the middle of the pitch, with the turning circle that Lavia has, the ability to receive the ball in tight spaces and control it, protect it, and then distribute it quite often yesterday in a forward motion, Lavias Position is very important here for Chelsea because what it does is it enables Enzo Fernandez to have a bit more creative freedom. You can see yesterday we spent a lot of the time over on this left side with Noni Madueke. And then Moisés Caicedo, as always, it's flipping, what was the saying about N'Golo Kante? The earth is covered by X percentage of water and the rest is covered by Kante. It's basically the same when it comes to Moisés Caicedo now in this Chelsea team. Shout out to Trevor Chalobah too yesterday, who I thought was absolutely brilliant, was a boss in centre-back for Chelsea. But what having Lavia in this team makes me feel, first of all. We'll talk about the feeling and then we'll actually look at some matches where Lavia's played and we can bring ourselves back to the Chelsea earlier in the season that could actually blow teams away. But I feel like we play way more fluid when Lavia is out there on the field. I think, as we said already, it frees up Kaisedo a little bit, but particularly when it comes to Enzo Fernandez, he can be a bit more advanced in the field. Cole Palmer, he's not on it at the moment. We know that. I hope it's not a long-term problem, but at the minute, he's just not on it. But again, he's kind of operating in the similar area to that of Enzo Fernandez, but on the right side of the pitch, with Pedro Neto holding that width, but also offering defensive coverage and tracking as well. I thought Neto did quite well yesterday. But Lavia just makes us look like we're a team that can actually move the ball quicker. And whether or not this is actually true, I think we need to see a lot more of Romeo Lavia out there on the pitch because this is what we've been working with this season. As you can see, he's still not completed a 90 minutes, but this game here, where he's on the pitch for 85 minutes of it, we won that match 3-0 at home to Aston Villa. In my opinion, that was Chelsea's best performance of the season. And in that game, Lavia was playing a very similar role to what we saw him do yesterday. Chelsea won it 3-0. We also beat Newcastle 2-1 at home when Lavia is on the pitch for 71 minutes. Draws against Man United and Arsenal. And yesterday was the fifth amount of minutes that Lavia's had this season. The fifth highest amount of minutes. And we have lost 2 games against Man City and Liverpool when Lavia's been out there. But that was the first game of the season under Enzo Maresca. And that Liverpool one, I actually think we played very well. So Romeo Lavia is quintessentially, I would say, a direct midfielder. But he does have a skill set that Chelsea absolutely need to make the most of here. Because when he's playing in that deep lying position, What he offers is a defensive outball. Too often at Chelsea, we kind of attack in, or we have possession, and by default, we call it control of the ball. And it always walks in like this U shape, you know? We've got the back line, and then we've got the right winger out wide, we've got the left winger out wide, and it kind of just rotates on a carousel between all of those players. And then we're looking at Palmer, and we're like, are you going to do it, mate? Are you going to stick one in their back stick? Is Cucurella going to run onto it? Do you notice how, when I say all of this, it kind of doesn't make sense when we actually do have some technically very composed footballers where we can actually build through teams. It doesn't always have to be going out wide. So when we take a look at Lavia's stats this season, obviously you would expect from a defensive midfielder tackles and interceptions per 90 minutes. These numbers are very good. My voice is gone because we did a big stream yesterday. Interceptions, top 2%. Pass completion is 96%. But this is where we need to talk about Chelsea being more effective. Because when it comes to footballing metrics, what's important, what isn't important, pass completion percentage is very deceiving more often than not. Because what that doesn't tell you is this, progressive passes. Because you can have the ball and keep passing it to your teammates and get it right 96% of the time. But if you're not playing it forward, then that can be a big problem, because that is what we would probably know as wasting possession. And in Chelsea fan under Enzo Maresca this season terminology, boring, rigid, structured football. So I'm not saying that Lavia has to be that guy to make those progressive passes all the time. Because if you take a look at Moisés Caicedo's statistics this season, if we take a look at these numbers, he's in the top 24%, 6.04 per 90 minutes. And again, pass completion is obviously very high. Tackles, blocks, interceptions, of course, the dominant lead stats when it comes to Kaisedo. Shot creating actions too. If you're going to have Romeo Lavia playing as a direct defensive midfielder for Chelsea, and again, I'll bring up that position yesterday. Basically, bang in the middle of the flipping pitch. Being able to turn, scan, move forward, scan. Always looking around. Then you need someone else to be able to create things. And I think at the moment, when I see, again, I'll bring up that momentum chart from yesterday. When I see this happen here, not only does this kind of coincide with when Lavia came off the pitch, and then by default, I just think Chelsea looked like we were able to be played through a bit more, because Lavia just does win the ball. He does make the tackles. He does get in the way, and he can read the game incredibly well for a player who is so young and hasn't played so much football. So, I mean, look, we put Reece James on the pitch, and if I show you where Reece James was playing, like, yes, this is down to the fact that Everton were coming at Chelsea and they're only 1-0 down, so of course they're going to be a little bit more attacking. But all of a sudden, you've not got that player there anymore. You don't have that coverage in the middle of the park. And with Chelsea not necessarily always being the quickest team when it comes to playing through the middle, we get it out wide. And like I said earlier, we then start doing the U-shaped carousel until somebody gets a half chance, usually Marc Cucurella in the box. Is that a sustainable way of building like an actual progressive attacking team for the future? I don't think it is. But we don't have enough data yet of seeing Lavia play for Chelsea to be able to suggest that it is the right option. I'm going to say that we look better. And I think when you look at the majority of these results when he's played, we've won more games than we've not. And these draws here, Man United, Arsenal, Bournemouth, defeats the Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City. He's played in a lot of big games this season. But the key ones for me are these ones. That 3-0 win at home to Aston Villa. We were so dominant in that game and we were clinical. But I wonder moving forward, like, what is the best way to get the most out of this? Because at the minute, it actually pains me to say it, but I think Reece James is the guy that misses out. Because I don't see Maresca deviating away from the 4-2-3-1. Enzo Fernandez right now, I mean, look at these stats, guys. Look at these stats from Enzo Fernandez this season. He's in the top 3% of shot created actions. So we've got to, as much as Enzo Fernandez, you know, like 5 goals, 7 assists, it's pretty good numbers, you know. I think Enzo Fernandez does deserve quite a lot of credit for the way that he's been playing. Progressive passes as well, 6.81. And that becomes so much easier for Enzo to play closer to the goal. And as you can see from these stats, he's a player that is always looking to get the ball forward. This is easier when Lavia's on the pitch. When Reece James is on the pitch, who isn't a defensive midfielder, we don't get that same level of fluidity through the game. We don't get Enzo Fernandez into those more advanced positions naturally because he's got to do more of the dirty work to protect Kaisedo and to pick up pieces if Reece is missing it in the middle. So moving forward, this is really difficult because I don't think the long-term thing is to have Moisés Caicedo starting games and being a defender in right back when we don't have the ball. Yes, it's very convenient that Moisés Caicedo can do all of this defensive work so well. You can see he's basically playing next to Trev, who is a fantastic player to have behind him because not only does Trev also look to play the balls forward, but he's such a great defender when it comes to scanning that game when he's playing high up the field. Kaisedo is everywhere. I still think we're missing something here. I don't know what it is. Is it to go with a 4-3-3 and then have Kaisedo as more of an advanced 8, but then we just look so solid when he's operating in these areas here? And obviously, if you've got Kaisedo and Lavia able to make blocks, interceptions, and stop those transitions when teams get the ball and try to counter-press us, that is how Chelsea can just keep controlling the game. So much of that second half yesterday, I'm looking at the players and I'm just thinking, it looks like you want to go forward more. It looks like you want to play a slightly riskier pass, a more killer pass, potentially. But I feel like they're all afraid to do it. And as much as I don't want to sit here criticising Maresca, because it's a good win yesterday. It's a good turnaround win at Fulham as well. We're 5th in the league. We've won our last 2. Like, we're doing all we can since that incredible double screw-up against Brentford and Ipswich. We're doing okay. Jackson back on the score sheet. You know what I mean? I don't know if the future is this. Like, surely it can't be Kaisedo playing at right back. He's just too good. So who gets sacrificed here? Is it that we do see Kaisedo playing there and he always inverts, but then Cucurella's pretty good at this whole inverting thing, and if we're so desperately forcing the invert, because we love a good invert, don't we, at Chelsea? Bloody hell. But there's still so many question marks. But why don't we just attack more? I don't understand. We just invited pressure yesterday, and if it wasn't for big Rob Sanchez in goal, then I don't think we win that game. And I think, again, it would have been a result of taking our foot off the gas, losing central control and not being quick enough and penetrative, if that's a word, when we're going forward. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments down below. I'm still kind of up in the air as to what I actually think the solution is here, because I think we're much better with Lavia on the pitch. I've said this all video, I know, and I'm kind of repeating myself now. We're better when he's on the pitch, but Kaisedo's just a monster, isn't he? He can play everywhere. He really can. Let me know your thoughts on what we've discussed today regarding Romeo Lavia in the comments down below. And as well as that, make sure you check out more GBFC. The link to the channel is in the description. I post there every single day talking about all other things in the Premier League, Champions League, and goodness knows what other stuff we're going to have coming up on that channel. It's doing really well. It's on 6K subs. Make sure you check it out. Link down below. Thank you guys for watching. See you tomorrow.